Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I want to go over a really big stack of books that I have that I may or may not have solely purchased and picked out just because the cover's nice. And I don't want to talk about pretty privilege here, but these books are pretty and I may have bought them just because of that. And I know we shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but when it comes to books, okay, this is a little bit different because the front is ultimately what's going to entice you to pick it up, whether it has people on the cover, whether it has like goofy graphics, whether it looks cool, that's what's gonna make you want to pick it up. So I have this extra, oh my gosh, this extra stack that this is one series, okay, so don't judge me too much. This is one series. I just didn't know if those would stay, but it looks like they are. I also don't want the stack sitting too close to me because it will fall, so it probably will fall. Okay, I'm taking these off. I've read a good handful of these books, but I think about 5 of them I have not read, so that may be where pretty privilege comes into play and I picked them up because of the cover. But they are on my TBR for a reason. I always talk about how like long my TBR is and I always put everything on my TBR. I have a long TBR, okay? Like, when you're a reader, you just have a long TBR, okay? I'm not the only one. It just happens to us sometimes. It just be like that, okay? So if you're just like me and you've picked up a book just because they're pretty, maybe you've heard some hype around them and that may have like influenced you to want to purchase them, then you've come to the right place. So anyway, let's just get into the stack right here. I think I'm gonna start with probably my first love back here, the one that I added at the top. I do already own these books on my Nook. I should make a video about my Nook because I posted a video, a TikTok about it, and it's like a forgotten Kindle. I feel like nobody knows what a Nook is. Some people do have them. It's like a little archived thing, so maybe I'll make a video about that. I literally have it sitting up here. But yeah, I own these books on my Nook. I have the original copies of them, and then when this 10-year anniversary came out, I went and bought these books too because these books are so special to me, and it is the Divergent series. I'm doing this backwards. Here's the first book. They're so gorgeous. Here's the first one. And then here is the 10-year anniversary copy. And I just love seeing the depiction of them on the cover and the way they match the story so well. This one's Insurgent. Look at that. Oh, it's so gorgeous. And also accurate. Okay, Amity outside of the wall. Thank you. Accurate fan art here. So good. And then we have Allegiant. These are just so beautiful. I love them so much. This one, 4. They're so cutesy in it too. And this copy of 4 also has We Can Be Mended in it too. I'm just gonna act like that doesn't exist because when Veronica Roth wrote that and came out with that like years later, that broke my heart. Oh my gosh, how can, spoiler alert, how can Tobias 4 end up with Triss's best friend Christina? I'm sorry, no, absolutely not. To me, We Can Be Mended does not exist. It's not cataloged in my brain. I want to forget about it. 4 is really good. This little like short stories, whatever, these little excerpts about 4, I love them. But We Can Be Mended, this little like extra bit that she wrote, tears me to pieces. I can't. He would never do that. That's insane. He gets with her best friend after she's dead. He wouldn't do that. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, I know I've talked about my love for the Divergent series before, but there's just such a special tie between a reader and the first series that got them into reading, the one that made them like enamored with a new world and so obsessed with characters and everything. And this is that book series for me. I know I've touched upon this before, but I was just like so enthralled with Divergent as a whole. Like I had a fan account for it. I made fan edits. Like I was on Wattpad. I was reading those stories of like what would happen at the end of Allegiant if she didn't die. Like I wanted that ending changed so bad. Oh my gosh. I have my opinions about the movies. I think I might have stated this before, maybe not. But the first movie, to me, is so perfect. It's like a perfect adaptation in my eyes for what these stories are written as. Don't ask me about Insurgent, Allegiant, and then Ascendant, which never got made. I can make a whole video about that separately if anyone actually cares, but everything about that first movie was so good. Theo James, guys. Some of you were not there. I always see edits of Theo now, even some like Divergent edits, and everyone's like so nostalgic for the past, whatever, and I'm like, you guys weren't there. I was a Theo stan, I was a Shailene stan, I was a Shio shipper, okay, a Fortress shipper. Like anytime I think back on just like Divergent era, like 2014, like Hunger Games, Maze Runner, the big 3, if you will, it's just so nostalgic for me. Anytime I hear any songs from the soundtrack of Divergent, it's so nostalgic for me, and once again, I just love it so much. And you can say whatever you want about it, It means so much to little me. So yeah, those are all the covers of Divergent. Of course I had to buy them because this is my first love right here. Like, Tobias Eaton, that was my first book boyfriend, okay? Like, that's him. He's the blueprint. I don't want to say too much, but 4 walked so that Xaden could run. Do you get what I'm trying to say? 4, Tobias Eaton was the blueprint, and Theo James put a face to the blueprint, okay? Don't even get me started. I'm telling you, I can make a whole separate video about Divergent and literally all of that, but we have to move on. And the next book I have is the Emily Henry Beach Read Collector's Edition. This is by far my favorite book by her, so I knew I needed to have it because in my original copy of Beach Read, I spilled water in it. And there's like 3 pages that are like completely all like crinkled and messed up. And I guess this just shows how well loved this book was. But I was so sad when that happened because I'm like the person, when I buy a book, I have to find the best copy of it and make sure there's like no dings or scratches or anything on it. So when this happened, dude, I was crushed. I'm a little bit better now though. Like if a book has like a little bit of a scratch or a ding, I'm like, you know what? It's okay. It gives the book character. But I was so sad. So I have this one and I'm like, it's okay if I have 2 copies because this is the collector's edition. This one's fancy. It has this really cool sunset pattern and everything on it. And then the quote, I feel overwhelmed that you exist, which is like the quote. It also says written by Emily Henry. Like, girl, yeah, we know. I know a lot of her other books are also getting like special editions, but I don't know if I'm gonna buy the rest of them. I think this one, since it is my favorite, I have all of her other books. I don't want to have 2 copies of each one. So I may only purchase this one as her collector's edition. But this one also has, where is it? This one also has the bonus epilogue, the like layover epilogue that has Poppy and Alex in it at the airport along with January and Gus. And they're like in the same room. I don't know if they know each other, but I think it's so cute because I love when the worlds collide. I love in some of her books she has like little ties, like they'll be at a bookstore and they're like, oh my gosh, there's this new author, Gus Everett. Like, yes, what do you know about them? Those are my faves. I can't find it. I don't know where it is in the book. I thought it was in the back, but I found it. A Beach Read epilogue layover, which is so cute. I love seeing the characters interact. But anyway, yeah, I had to get this one just because it's my favorite book by her and it's so pretty. It's beautiful. I love it so much. I may have 2 copies of the book, but I don't care because I needed this one. The next book I have is one that I have not read before, and it's called The Rose Bargain. And you cannot look at this book and tell me it is not gorgeous. Look at that. It's so pretty. And the inside, look at that. And then this like really pretty like emerald green on the outside. Like, and the foil. You're kidding. And this book is literally Bridgerton, but with fantasy, fae, and magic. It just sounded magnificent. And I also think there's a love triangle. Maybe. It says, when one makes a fairy bargain, one must be prepared to pay the price. Every citizen of England is granted 1 bargain from their immoral fae queen. High society girls are expected to bargain for qualities that will win them suitors. A rare talent for piano in exchange for one's happiest childhood memory. A perfect smile for one's ability to taste. That I think is so weird. You're gonna give up your childhood memories just to learn how to play piano? To be like a great pianist? Like, girl, get on YouTube, okay, and look up how to play piano. I know they don't have the internet, but like piano lessons, I would not give up my greatest childhood memory for that. Or a perfect smile for one's ability to taste. Nah. But Ivy's debut season arrives with a shocking twist. A competition to marry the Queen's Fae son, Prince Bram. That's an interesting name. It's a prize that could save Ivy's family from ruin and free her older sister from the bargain that destroyed her. Yet every glittering Fae deal has a rotting heart. And amidst lavish balls, vicious competition, and a dangerous alliance with the prince's rakish younger brother, Prince Emmett, Ivy realizes at the center of this contest lies a dark plot that could destroy all of England and her heart with it. So princes, fantasy, fae, Bridgerton. I've never read a book that has fae before, but I think this one would be so good. The next book I have is called One Infinite Fate, and guys, the sprite edges, look at them. They're gold. That's so pretty. I think this one also had a Barnes & Noble exclusive. I did not pick that one up, but that one was, I think, like a maroon purpley color, but with the gold foil. I really love the way this blue looks with the gold though. And then the inside, maybe that's all love is in the end, an endless tempting of fate. That's so pretty. Oh my gosh. This book says they've loved each other in 1,000 lifetimes. They've killed each other in every one. I think it's like an enemies to lovers with this girl who like keeps repeating her life every time she dies on like her 18th birthday from this like demon or something that's in love with her. I'm gonna read it to you though. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue meets This Is How You Lose the Time War in this fantastical and epic love story that defies death as two souls reincarnate through the centuries. Yeah. Evelyn can remember all of her past lives. She can also remember that in every single one, she's been murdered before her 18th birthday by Arden, a supernatural being linked to her soul. The problem is that she's quite fond of the life she's in now, and her little sister needs her in order to stay alive. If Evelyn wants to save her sister, she'll have to find the centuries-old devil who hunts her through each life before they find her first, figure out why she's being hunted, and finally break the curse, and try not to fall in love. Again. So this one's like super enemies to lovers if they really are like linked together. I read the first page before I picked it up, and it's like, yeah, prologue, several hundred years ago. She's literally at her wedding about to marry this guy, and then one of them ends up like killing her groom. Like her man's ends up dead. I don't know. It sounds like it's gonna be this really cool like cat and mouse type of game. And also she's living different lives every time. So she lives all the way up until she's 18 and then dies and then has to restart another life in another body with a new family. It just sounds so crazy, and it sounds like it's going to be a really good book and a love story as well. And then the family aspect with her sister. This one just sounds really good, so if anyone's read this, please let me know. I think I've heard a couple people say it's pretty good, but if you guys have, please let me know. The next book I have is A Study in Drowning, and this one I did solely pick up for these sprayed edges. They're books. This looks so good on my bookshelf with the little tiny books. It's so pretty. I know the second book just came out, and I have been like fighting myself, like, because I haven't read this yet, but I've been fighting myself if I should pick up the second book, because the second book also has these really cool sprayed edges. So I'm like, well, when I eventually read this, I should get the one with the sprayed edges, because then I'll have them as like a set, you know. But I don't know, I really need to pick this up so I can figure out if I even want to read the second one. It's like a little dark academia love story. I think they're both like writers or something. I'm gonna read it to you though, but come on, come on. It looks so pretty. The inside, wow. I was sold. I don't even know. This is how they get you, okay? You know how like for vinyls and records and stuff like that, they have like the fancy pressings and like there's so many different variants. Books are starting to be like that, and I know they look so pretty, but I kind of hate it at the same time, because then I'm like, oh, I want that copy. Oh, I want that copy. Which one do I get? It's this whole like prison in my mind that I'm making up, but like if they're out there, I want to pick the one that I like the best, you know? It's this whole thing. But yeah, this book is really pretty. But it says, if fairies and monsters were real, so were the women who defeated them. So I think maybe she's gonna go on a quest. Part historical fantasy, part rivals to lovers romance, and part gothic mystery, the feminist fairy tale has captivated readers with its haunting, dreamlike atmosphere. We'll see about that. Why's everyone got complicated names in here? Jeez. Effie has always believed in fairy tales. Even though crumbling under the pressure of her first term at college, she can't always seem to tell the difference between her fact and fiction. Her only solace has been Angharad. I'm gonna go with Angharad because that sounds better. An epic from Lyran national hero and author Emrys Marden. Taken by chance and maybe fate, the late author's estate, she is intent on finding the purpose to her own story, but instead stumbles upon Preston Hillary. What is with these names? A scholar from the Literature College. Preston has come to Hyreth Manor determined to prove Effie's favorite author is a fraud, and her only hope of proving him wrong is to conspire with him. But Hyreth, perched on the very edge of a wrathful ocean, holds dark secrets, from the likes of which both Effie and Preston thought only existed in the pages of Myron's stories. The house and the truth might just ruin them both, and the sea threatens to swallow it, them and all their stories whole. The one thing I can say after reading that is that some of these last names are a little bit confusing. This one does sound good, but I think that the edges may have persuaded me just a little bit. I've also heard a lot of mixed reviews on this on Goodreads. A lot of people gave it like 4 or 5 stars, but also a lot of people gave it like 1 and 2. So I may have been persuaded just by how pretty it is. But yeah, I definitely need to pick this up and read it so I can know if I want to read the second book. So this has to be on the TBR soon. I don't know, because that other book is only going to be in stores for a certain amount of time, and I just gotta know, you know? My next book is Fearless by Lauren Roberts, and I have actually read this book, but I have 2 copies of this book, which I really shouldn't, but I have 2 copies of this. I have the Barnes & Noble copy that has like the red on the front, which I only bought that one because it came with like the special, I don't know, epilogue excerpts in Kai's perspective, so that's why I bought it. But I hate low-key the front cover red, so I have this one, which is the Walmart edition that has this really fancy fan art on it, and I just really wish the Barnes & Noble one had this. I feel like Barnes & Noble has been lacking lately in their like exclusive special editions, because this is gorgeous. Look at them. Those are my faves right there. That's my man right there. Like, this is so good. I really did not need this, but also I did at the same time. You know, it's always a battle. It's a constant struggle. So yeah, now I have 2 copies of Fearless. What are you gonna do? You know, I also did do a whole Fearless reading vlog, so if you guys want to see that, that is up on my channel, where I talk about my thoughts and everything on the book, and me just being really like frazzled. A lot of things shocked me at times, so if you guys want to go look at my reactions, they're over there. One thing that does really piss me off though, and I did mention it in my Fearless reading vlog, is that the UK, Waterstones, literally anywhere that's not the US, always gets better editions of the books than we do. And I know that Lauren Roberts like signed with, what is it, Simon Schuster, which is I think like a UK publisher. They probably have one over here, but I don't know the logistics of all of that. But they always get the better copies, so I know it's like UK and that's why. But like, they had really cool like front foils, and they had art and inserts and everything in their exclusive editions, and I'm just like, why is that not over here? It is a little bit irritating, but like, it is what it is, you know? So I do have this one because the fan art in it is very nice. The next book I have is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, and I have actually not read The Love Hypothesis. I meant to pick up the normal original paperback version, but they didn't have it, and they only had this one. So I was a little bit irritated at that because the rest of the books I have are all paperback and I want them to match, and once again, I'm creating problems on my own. But this one is really gorgeous, and it has art and everything inside of it too. Look at that. Gorgeous. And then it has the art. What? That's partly why I picked it up, because I was like, you're kidding, huh? That's literally so crazy. So yeah, and the sprayed edges, they're all like little, I don't know, helixes and Jimmy Neutron-esque things, you know what I'm trying to say? But yeah, I wanted to read this so I was prepared for when the movie comes out, and also I just feel like I need to read all of her books because the ones that I have read I really do like, and I kind of dip my toes into a little bit more of the like science-y part of her books, so I decided maybe I should just read this because I know this was like her breakout book, her breakout novel, and everybody was raving about this and I just didn't pick it up. It's so pretty, and I do plan on reading this one soon just so that I'm up to date and I have all the knowledge before the movie comes out. You know, I want to be one of those people that read it before so I can like compare in my brain. So I'm excited to read this one. The next book I have is one that I actually did not buy for myself, but I got it as a gift for my birthday last year, is the Lightlark Collector's Edition, which comes in this like super fancy box. Huh? Look how pretty that is. The foiling on this is insane. Look at that. Oh my goodness. And the art in here too. Come on, what? This is what I was expecting for Powerless. Like, low-key, I was like, where are the fancy editions for Powerless? Come on, like, look at that. And also, I want to know what you guys, how you guys pronounce her name, because Alex Astor posted a video. She was talking about like the audiobooks or whatever, and she was like, oh yeah, Isla, and I'm like, Isla? I thought her name was Isla, and I thought the S was silent. Does anyone else pronounce it like that, or is it just me? In my brain, I was always pronouncing it Isla. Guess I'm wrong, but I'm not gonna stop pronouncing it as Isla because Isla just does not sound right to my brain. But the artwork in here is amazing. Where's the picture of Oro? There it is. And I will be picking up the Oro and Grimm book that she's releasing that comes out I think like next month or something like that. Even though Lightlark is not like my favorite series in the world, I've said it before, I do have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with the series, but to me it's kind of like trashy TV. I've expressed this before, I think in my all the books I read in 2024. I talked about Lightlark, Nightbane, and what's the last one? Skyshade, and I kind of like said all of my thoughts over there, but I don't know. I don't think it's the best book series in the world, and I might have a little bit of qualms with the character development and some of the plot and whatever, but once again, to me it's low-key like trashy TV because I'm like, none of these puzzle pieces match, but okay, sure, why not? So I think there was just so much effort put into making this actually feel special. It even comes in a box. I just think it's so cool. So I don't know if I'm going to purchase the other exclusive collector's editions of these, but I think having the first book like it is honestly really cool. So I am happy that I have this because it is really cool to look at. So I didn't purchase this one myself, but I did low-key want it, so I'm glad I got it as a birthday gift. And this very last book just came out yesterday, and I'm not familiar with the root source material this came from, but I had to pick it up because I feel like I'm gonna have major FOMO if I don't buy it and I don't experience it and I don't read it. So the book is Alchemized, and this is such a heavy, thick ass book. Oh my gosh, I did not expect for it to weigh like a brick. Like, I know it's like 1,000 pages, but it feels like 1,000 pages. It feels like a textbook almost. The cover of this is beautiful, and the inside, they put so much like attention to detail in this. And this dust jacket, I'm gonna talk about this for a second. It's a literal maze. What is all this? That looks so cool. I do not know anything about Alchemized other than I know it was like Dramini fan fiction, and its original book was called Manacled, and I remember everybody was talking about it on TikTok. And back when it was super popular, like, I don't know, 2020, 2021, whatever, everybody was just like, this is the best book I've ever read. So my expectations are very high for this. I was so tempted to want to read it just because I wanted to know what all the hype was about, even though I'm not like the biggest Harry Potter stan. I've never read the books. I just saw all the Harry Potter movies, I want to say like in 2020 for the very first time. I was just never really exposed to it a whole lot when I was a kid, and I just never really found a reason to watch it. My parents weren't super into it. I had one friend that did like it, but she was never like, you have to watch these, they're like the best thing on planet Earth. So I don't know, I just never really got into Harry Potter like that. There's a plane going by. Sorry about the plane. I do really like the movie franchise, the series. I am tempted, maybe just a little bit, to want to read the books, but not enough that's gonna like overthrow my TBR and all this kind of stuff. So maybe one day I will read the Harry Potter series. It's just not a priority for me right now. But Alchemized, however, might be. I'm like kind of tempted to even do a reading vlog on this because I know how hyped up this book is and just everything surrounding it. And you know what, just because it was originally a fan fiction does not mean that it's not a masterpiece and a great work of art, because you know what, I have read some good fan fiction. I'm so open-minded when it comes to this just because I've heard so many people rave about this. They say it's kind of like the best book they've ever read before, and I don't know, I'm just very excited to crack this open. And I am a little bit like, should I have read Manacled before I read this so that I could like understand where it came from and all that? People are saying you don't have to, but a part of me feels a little bit left out. Like, I want to know what happened in Manacled, like, you know. Oh my gosh, the heck is this? There's artwork in here. What? That's insane. I did not know there was artwork in here. I just bought it yesterday and I like barely flipped through it. And wait, am I like looking at something I shouldn't? Wait, I hope I didn't like spoil something for myself. I'm gonna act like I didn't see that. This is not inherently a dark romance, it's a dark fantasy with a subplot of romance. It's basically like if Voldemort won and like all the Death Eaters and everyone are like in power, but all of Hermione's friends died, like Ron, Harry, like literally everybody's dead, and she's all that's left of like that side of the rebellion. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Once again, I think this probably goes to show I haven't read or know too much about it just besides the movies. I don't know the lore that deep, okay? There's lots of things that I like know about, but I like haven't tapped into it. That's just surface level information. But in this riveting dark fantasy debut, a woman with missing memories fights to survive a war-torn world of necromancy and alchemy, and the man tasked with unearthing the deepest secrets of her past. I'm sure you guys have heard about this book. Like, this isn't like new information to anyone. You guys probably all know more about it than I do, because I know there's a lot of like Potterheads out there. I just am sadly not one of them. And I really wish that I was, or had like that nostalgic attachment to it, but I sadly don't. But the cover of this is honestly beautiful. I'm just excited to tap into this world, but honestly a little bit scared because I know there's so much lore and everything that goes into this. Even though this is made to be like a standalone, has nothing to do with Harry Potter, I just feel like there's a lot of lore within the fandom and everything about this. But that about wraps it up for all of the books in this video. I will try to stack these since that is what I normally do, but I don't know if that's gonna work this time. Let's try it out. Hold on, give me a sec. I feel like this is just gonna fall over. Boom. should I actually try to pick this up? Nope. I'm not even gonna attempt to pick this up because I don't want to drop any of my books and ruin my fancy editions. But that is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have read any of these books or share the same problem as I do with buying books that you guys think are pretty, maybe if you guys already have the original copy and you guys wanted like a special exclusive edition and now you guys have 2 of them, or if you guys picked up a book just because the cover is pretty, then you're just like me and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? We're in a safe place here. So that's the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye!